Yeah, absolutely. So before I welcome our panelists with us, let me just welcome each and every one of you that is with us today, whether it be on Facebook or live in the webinar. Once again, myself, Trevor Thomas, and my business partner, Lenny de Villiers, are so glad to have you with us in this space. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, what we do is we're a company called Induku Group, and we have set up this green room, which Lenny will speak to you about just now. But as Induku Group, what we do is we help South African families get across to the United States of America, if that is where they'd like to go, and live your dream in America. How we do that? We do that on the back of what we call an EB3. It's a permanent residency, and you get that by an employment-based visa, which is under Category 3. So if you'd like to know a little bit more about that, or if you'd like to be in contact with any one of us in the Induku team, please don't hesitate. Get hold of us, and we can help you and guide you along that path. Then, before we introduce Vicky, would you like to just give us a bit of a rundown of the green room?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Trevor said, for the people that are new in this on this webinar, welcome to you. So the webinar is for people that are looking to immigrate. So not just for our program, but it's for people that are looking for information on immigration. So if you are immigrating to Australia, Panama, for that instance, and any of these topics that we do cover would be pertinent to your process. So we would cover the psychology of immigration. We would cover documentation needed. We would cover the financial part of immigration. And today we've got another great topic. We even covered pets the other day. So these are all things that are relevant to everybody that is looking to immigrate. So we welcome everybody, and we ask that everybody, participate in these webinars. Give us topics that you want us to talk about. We have had topics that people have suggested. Can I immigrate with my firearms? We are doing the investigation in that, and we will cover that very, very soon. We have had a topic or a suggestion that what else can I immigrate with financially? Can I take my Kruger Rands with? So we are going to cover that with the financial aspect of immigration once again, when we start digging into the financial side again. So other topics to look forward to for the rest of the week and for next week is we have got Maria on again on the psychology of immigration. We are going to be digging into one or two topics a little bit deeper. So please stay tuned. I think that's going to be a very, very good topic to cover, because we only covered the basics of it, and so many people were interested in it because it just tickles that imagination or that idea about, oh, I didn't think about that. What is going to be the consequences if I move? Maybe I should tune in and to see if this is actually something that I should be thinking about a lot more. So please stay tuned. This is for Thursday at 3 o'clock. And for next week so far, the topics that we are looking for is that we are going to be dealing with schooling in America. So we have got a teacher that used to be a South African. I think she's probably still a South African, but I'm not sure what her status is now. But she is going to be covering schooling in America. So she lives in Dallas, Texas. So we're going to try and figure out how we can, get people that have got kids and are maybe going into our program to Houston, how we can answer their questions that they have for schooling. I reckon I've got plenty of questions. I've got 2 kids, and you know what, I would love to know what the process is and the pros and cons for different schools I have to look out for. The other topic that we are going to be covering next week is we are going to have 1 or 2 of our applicants that are in the process currently just talk to us about their experience in the Live Your Dream program. Who better to get it? So if you are on the cusp of deciding if I should follow this program, if I should not follow this program, we are going to ask them the straightforward questions. We're going to ask them, guys, what has been the best part of this program, and what's been the horrible part of the program? And you can get it straight. As we said, we are trying to be transparent in this whole process. We're putting our faces on internet, and we are wanting people to understand that we are putting our hearts into these things as well. So we deal with each person on a case-by-case basis, and each person's situation is vitally important to us. So without further ado, I am going to ask Trevor to please welcome our panelist and introduce her.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we are very blessed. We obviously advertised that we are going to be doing something on relocation, and we're glad to have Vicky Kruger join us today on the Green Room. So Vicky, thank you for joining us. It's lovely to have you with us. Guys, Vicky has come, her whole career has been based in logistics and everything around logistics and freight and everything else. And currently she's been working for Magna Thompson's for just on 9 years. So who better to have than Vicky with us today? So Vicky, thank you for your time and thank you for being with us. I'm going to ask you if you wouldn't mind giving us a 2-minute intro to who Vicky is and a little bit about your company, Magna Thompson.
Thanks so much. I'm happy to join you guys today. Like I said, I've been in the industry a very long time. We specialize, I've been with Magna Thompson and they've been in business for 33 years. I've learned a lot from the company. We specialize in local, international removals, as well as packing services, crating, fine arts, antiques, grand pianos, really all of the services you can think of, as well as storage solutions, pet relocations, and etc. So we basically come into your home, do your survey, and take you door to door.
Excellent.
Okay, so Vicky, let's answer this question up front. We've obviously got people that are in this green room with us that is not specific just for United States of America. I mean, so the principles and most of the principles we'll discuss today would cover all of those areas. Would it be Australia, New Zealand, Canada? I mean, your company does relocation for all of those places, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I mean, Vicky, I think, it's one of those topics, once again, that we could actually talk a lot longer than half an hour. I mean, there's so many things that,
exactly,
that people hoard up in their lives. Some people would want to take everything with, other people will take maybe nothing with. It all depends on obviously the cost of what they take along with. So, I mean, I think maybe we can just start off and say, what is the problem or mistake that people make with when it comes to relocation? What are the people doing wrong from the start, and what can they do better?
I would say it's normally where the client is not sure of the budgets that they have for the relocation. So if the company is paying for the move, it's best to determine or find out exactly what the budget is that the company is going to allow for before you decide exactly what you're going to take. And if it's a private move, the same would apply. You would basically have to make sure you know exactly what is important and the space you're moving to, because the houses may be different sizes. Some of the effects may not be accommodated, like your bed, for instance, if it's custom furniture. So you would want to see what the replacement value of those items are over there, what you can actually take in terms of electronics, and prepare your move in such a way that you don't take unnecessary items with you and then expect, you get there and then you have to resell those items because you can't use them. The other mistake that people make is they don't read the exclusions of their quotes properly. So it's up to the removal company to explain that to you, such as, duties may apply to certain items, don't include them, don't take food stuff, don't put medication in the container. These are all red flags that could detain your container at destination, which would incur you extra costs. So it's best to do your homework on what is allowed and what is not allowed to go.
Good.
Yeah, very valid
We
point.
also, sorry, if I may add, we also share a customs guide to every client before, at survey stage, to show them exactly what the restrictions are, what is required for customs documentation, etc., so that you're well prepared. There's a pre-clearance that is done to avoid delays at destination with clearance.
Okay. So, Vicky, let me ask you this. Let's say I was looking to immigrate and, everybody obviously starts with the basics about immigration and they look at all the practical things about before they sort of look at the facts of how do I get my stuff overseas. I mean, when is the right time for someone that is wanting to immigrate to contact yourself? I mean, when is that, sort of at the beginning stages? I mean, how many months prior to this time would you suggest?
Okay, first of all, exactly when you are, thinking about it, contact the removal companies and go and get your quotes. Make sure that you compare them accurately. It's never too early to ask for a quote. What we do is the first assessment is an estimate. We will go out to the client, explain, do the survey, have a look at the cupboards, everything that they have, guide them on what's not allowed to go, and then they reevaluate and they say, okay, maybe I shouldn't take this, maybe I'll replace that, and then the quote will take shape from there. Once the company has decided the appointment is granted, visa is no problem, we will go out to go and do a final assessment and give you a more accurate quote. So the whole process would normally be 2 surveys to the clients, to the home, to assess, what the client has, to get an accurate quotation out there for them.
Okay.
So Vicky, these assessments that you guys come and do, I mean, is that part of the quote? I mean, do you guys quote for those things beforehand? How does that work?
Yes, it's a previous survey that we basically assess the volume that you are moving, and then that's all free of charge. All the companies are free of charge. So you go out, you get the volume that the client is going to take. Sometimes, they have an air freight, they have a sea freight, they want to put stuff in storage to send it later when they can afford it. There's various methods that go into this, but yes, I would say start off with the survey, get your ducks in a row with documentation, and then go from there.
Vicky, so to that point, I mean, we've got a lot of people that, for example, we laugh and joke about it, and they say they're going to take everything, including the kitchen sink. Yes. You guys would be able to offer, for example, I mean, I know in these type of equations, you have a 40-foot container, you have a 40-foot high cube container, and sometimes you guys also do. I mean, let's take, for example, we've got a number of people in our program. If we had 5 families that each wants to put a crate, for example, in the container, I mean, is that also allowed? Is that something that you guys could handle and do?
Yes, we do groupage shipments. So the various shipments that we have is groupage, LCL. I'll explain a bit more about that. There's a 20-foot container, there's a 40-foot container, and there's a high cube container. Sometimes people want to take vehicles with, if duties are not too high, then we also include the vehicles in the container. It's endless what you can do, basically. But the methods go according to the volume for shipments. So that would be your groupage, your sea freights, shipments. The air shipments go according to kilograms. That's calculated on the weight of the consignment. So you want to try and send the air freights as small as possible. Maybe one person going with excess luggage, you can send that by air freight. The sea freights, well, speaking of volume, it's about 200 cube is the cutoff for groupage consignments, if you want to really get away with a cheap quote. But yes, if you have various clients going via, the same port of entry, you can do a groupage shipment, no problem. We also have other clients, sharing in containers. We have a network of sister companies as well that we include, other clients fix into containers to get them going. But the waiting period could perhaps be a bit long for the client to wait for their effects for our container to be filled. But that's the negative side to a groupage. But it does bring down your cost tremendously if you take a groupage option.
Okay. So Vicky, if these people are getting quotes, say for instance now already, but they're only leaving in say 12 months time, okay, what are they subject to looking at changing in cost? So is the cost subject to the currency? What is the cost to these things subject to?
Okay, so what the quotations for the destination agent for the delivery service, that is normally valid for 28 to 60 days, depending on the terms that we have with the agent. So, but the changes won't be that much in the rate. Of course, you would have to consider the rates of exchange fluctuation for every quote. And if you are telling me, I want to move next year, please work on an estimate and let's try and lock in these rates, we can certainly do that. We can negotiate with the agents and go from there. But majority of the time, the only thing that changes really is the rate of exchange fluctuation, and if there is any fuel increases by the shipping lines, the bunker adjustment fees. So those are the only really concerns that you should have with regards to the costs.
Excellent.
Vicky, so to the point of a lot of people that are part of our program, which is obviously final destination, United States of America, and is more to the point, Houston. For the bulk of them, some of them would be North Dakota. What is the time on the water? On average. I mean, if everything was going fine and your vessel was going to leave on the Saturday, I mean, is it like a 28-day turnaround time? I mean, what is the general time to the States?
The general time is 6 to 8 weeks. I don't want to put a day, days to it, because it could be any port delays, weather delays, anything like that could occur. Even a removal schedule, packing delays, those things can all affect the transit time. And most importantly, clearance could take a while too. So we're going to average of 6 to 8 weeks as a consideration for transit times.
That's very good. So does that include what is the storage then? So obviously when your stuff arrives on the other side, how long will it have to be waiting there until it actually gets to your front door? What is the storage time, and does it include storage, the pricing, or what's the the small?
It normally, okay, so if it departs from Cape Town, it goes to the port of entry. From the port of entry, it's 5 to 7 days for clearance and delivery on the other side, depending on the agent's delivery schedules. It's very important for clients to let us know if they are going to not be in the country when the container arrives, or if, for instance, they're taking a holiday and, thinking, oh, the container will arrive in 6 to 8 weeks, we will be back, or it doesn't matter when we're back. You only get a certain period of rental time for the container from the shipping line. So I would, those points you need to be very careful with. You need to be in the country when the container arrives. You can consider from the port of entry 5 to 7 days to clearance and delivery. They will send you an arrival notification before the container gets to the port of entry, so that you can actually plan your delivery schedules with them from there.
Okay. So, Vicky, one of the questions that come up sometimes is that people ask, is it advisable for them to get a company that comes in and packs their house for them, and then, for example, Magna Thompson comes and then puts everything into the container, so to block it, into different spaces and different people doing that for you. I mean, what is the risk involved in doing something like that, instead of just having a company like your own, where Magna Thompson comes and does everything from wrapping the stuff up, putting it in the container, literally to unpacking it back at your final destination? I mean, what are the risks involved if you don't follow one company?
The risks are that you can't insure the effects, because your insurance goes from door to door. So if it's not handled directly from the company that is in charge of your move from door to door, your insurance won't be effective. And then also we need to make the packing list for customs. If anything is packed by the client themselves, it's listed as a packed by owner box, and then your chances for customs stopping it is very great. So what we do is we will do the packing list. We will make sure everything is wrapped adequately. The container is packed in such a way to avoid movement inside and damages, because it does move on the sea, and there's a lot of handling that goes into moving a container and packing goods. So you need to be very careful that you select the right company and that someone is handling it door to door for you.
So Vicky, on that topic of insurance, obviously,
yes,
two things. Is insurance, obviously you guys would recommend insurance, because anything can happen, and your whole livelihood and everything that you've collected over the years is in that crate or in that container. Talk us a little bit about insurance. I mean, insurance, does it cover obviously everything if there's accidents? What is the insurance premium based off? And what are the pitfalls with insurance though? I mean, what have people done wrong with insurance? And do you guys cover the insurance?
Well, to answer your question, with regards to insurance, the common mistake that clients make is they don't put the adequate replacement value of the fix on the application form, and they group things together. With international insurance, you need to give a detailed list of quantities, descriptions, and values. You wouldn't work on your rand value here in South Africa because you're not going to replace the items here. Although the insurance application needs to be completed in rands, you need to replace it over there in US dollars or in whichever currency you are moving to. So it's very important to do your research on your replacement values by the means of Google, IKEA, those kind of companies that you can get online, just a quick replacement value. The insurance companies do nowadays want a list of the high valued items, and they will do their own research as well and pay out a percentage of that. So what's the suggestion is that you take insurance, and it's highly recommended door to door for everything that you're going to move. High valued items, you would list them separately. You wouldn't group things together. For instance, designer clothes versus Mr. Price jeans, you will make those two separate on your list to get out more. If there is a claim, we will investigate. Obviously, we take photos during the packing stage because, you know, our reputation is of utmost importance to us. So we take the photos, the agent at destination takes the photos as well. And if there's damage in transit, we will just then send a condition report to the insurance company, and then they will then deal with the claim and pay you out accordingly. We don't have much issues with insurance, but, you know, anything can happen during the transit of the move. If that answers the question.
You guys have the companies and stuff that you guys recommend that people do the insurance with and stuff like that?
Yes, currently Magna Thompson uses Santam as insurance company, and we've had great service from them.
Okay, excellent.
But, Vicky, I mean, obviously a lot of people, and Lenny mentioned it earlier, that a lot of people have been asking us about taking weapons across and stuff like that. I mean, have you dealt with something like that before? I mean, could you answer something like that? I know it's not part of you know, relocation specifically, but have you dealt with weapons before?
Yes, we have. It's prohibited in most countries to take them over, and the shipping lines don't allow them in the containers anymore. So just on a note, I want everybody to please take note that animal horns, animal trophies, skins, weapons, medication, gas bottles, food stuff, do not include these items in your container. It's going to cause major delays. And then on a different note, wine lists are required if you're going to take a collection of wine. Make sure about the duties that you're going to be paying if you're willing to pay it. And then we, as the company, will assist you to do a notification of loading through the Department of Agriculture for all the wine that goes out. But there is a major process that follows with all these items that I just mentioned.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone has still got any wine left after the lockdown, but it's a good point.
I doubt it.
I know Lenny dipped into some of his collector's items over there.
I think a lot of our clients have.
Listen, my wife's Italian, and she cooks with wine, and every now and then she puts it into the food as well.
Well, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, Vicky, for last, last on my side, I don't know if Trevor's got more questions. Can you give us a roundabout an estimate what it would cost for a container, you know, as an average family taking, you know, their basics across to say Houston, just for people that are in our program, just so that they can have an idea, just for, listen, they've got a budget in mind that they are going to set aside for this program at various stages. And this might be something that they have only touched on and maybe researched a little bit on Google. So they're going, okay, I'll set aside 40,000 Rand or something on this. I mean, just to give them a ballpark figure of going, listen, you way out, or listen, start saving more in that aspect.
Start saving more. The freight alone for a 20-foot container, and let's just actually give you the accurate facts here quickly. If you just bear with me 1 second. Okay, to the USA, let's say to Houston, and this is only the sea freight, is $2,200. That excludes the bunker. So that's for a 20-foot container. What I'll do for you is I'll do a 20-foot container to Houston and a 40-foot container to Houston, and I will email it to you, and then you can place it on your website just as a rough indication. If you're not going to fill the entire container, you're only going to pay for the packing that you utilize in the container, but you'll pay for the entire freight. So every quote is different.
Okay.
And every agent's rates are different. So it's better to contact the companies to get the quotes. Don't think that, there's no option or we can't afford this. Let's do the estimate for you and see what we, come up with, if that answers the question.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's I think it's fair to put it on our website, and we can have people. And I mean, like you said, I mean, the 20-foot and the 40-foot, she'll put the quotes, give the quotes to us, and we'll put it on our website for you guys to go and have a look at.
So Vicky, I want to ask you a question just before we talk about how people can get hold of you, and we'll obviously put all your details on our website as well that people can do it. But let's talk about you and your family of friends and your circle of friends. And people come to you and they say, listen, I'm going to be looking at relocation. I mean, as a friend, what would you say is the biggest problem that most people, or the biggest mistake that most people make in this field that you specialize in? I mean, what's the problem that everyone must be very, I mean, obviously customs is a factor, but if I asked you that in your personal capacity, what would your answer be?
Well, I would say that people don't do research properly on the countries that they're moving to, and they have, they have an expectation of taking, say, for instance, I want to take all my effects, but they can't afford to do it. Or they last minute decide to sell all their effects and only take a small portion. But the mistake would be that they don't research the company that the country that they are moving to properly. And then, it causes a major problem when you get there. Access, a big problem. People sometimes have to move into flats or apartment units. So that means, you can't access the truck, or certain items needs to be hoisted, or they get there and then they just don't like the company that they are working for. And then a major thing is that some of the companies don't pay for the people to come back if they don't succeed in their current positions, and then they're sitting there with a whole container and they don't know how to get it back home. So do your research on the company you're moving to or going to be working for, and the country you're moving to, and make sure that this is actually what you and your family want to do, and make sure that the company is going to pay for you to come back.
Yeah,
so
that's good. Those are very, very good points. I mean, there's a couple of questions that have come through here, Vicky. Maybe we can just address two of them.
Sure.
The one, Anna is asking, is one allowed to pack food colorings used for sugar craft in the container?
Which country is she moving to? To the US?
To the US, yeah.
I would not recommend any of those items to be included, because it could leak out and it could cause an insurance claim. The container also gets very hot inside. Household effects are stowed on deck of the ship, so it might just spoil, or it could cause customs issues as well if they have to stop and investigate what it is. So no open liquids in the container as well, as highly recommended before.
Okay, so there's another question over here, actually from Anna as well. Nice questions, Anna. You and Jet have got some good questions here. Vicky, when one goes in a group, okay, so we're sharing a container, what happens if someone else has packed something and then that container is held at port? How do the other people, number one, get their goods, and number two, who's then liable for the fee that is charged on the demurrage?
So how this works is, if it's a groupage, everything is done individually. Everybody's consignment is separate. So everybody completes their own documentations, declarations, all of this, and everybody has their own packing list. So when the container gets to port of entry, it normally gets dispatched from there to everybody's various destinations. So the container won't be detained and everybody won't suffer the fees. It will only be the person that is, causing the issue. And in terms of if she's meaning a friendship group putting all their stuff into one container and clearing under one person's name, that's a completely different story. If we are going to do it individually as individual clients, it makes it much easier, and less liability.
Yeah, good point. One of the other questions that came up, horse saddles to the USA. Is
no
that
problem.
No problem.
It's like a leather couch. It's not a problem. It just needs to be fumigated and cleaned properly.
Okay. So Vicky, obviously, I mean, we've learned so much from you today. I think the big thing over here is, like you say, the devil is in the detail over here, and you need someone to actually come around and have a look at your stuff and do a proper proposal for you so that you're just in the right space. But at least, you've given us so much guidance from a high level, and we appreciate the time that you've afforded us today. We're going to put your details and everything on our page and everything else, but how else can our guys that have been listening today that might be going wherever they're going in the world, how can they get hold of you, Vicky?
Okay, so I'll share my email address. It's Vicky, VICKY .Kruger, KRUGER @magnathomson.com. Or you guys can go onto the website, which is www.magnathomson.com. And alternatively, my work number, which is 021-535-4231.
Excellent.
Awesome. Vicky, this has been amazing. I mean, I've learned a lot, and you've given me a lot of things to think about. I'm rather going to try and convince my wife to sell some more things than take it with. But let's see. Let's rather do our research at where we are all going, and see what country will allow us to take what. I think that might be the smartest move. Start there.
Look at those customs guys.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vicky.
Vicky, thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to tell you that we had someone on here once again, Anna, and then they've said that they actually had you guys as Magna Thompson to run to their house, and you guys were super helpful, and your service was great. So there's just a referral as well for Magna Thompson. So once again, thank you for your time today. It was great to have you. We appreciate that which you've given us in terms of the input, and hopefully we'll have you on here soon again.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks Vicky.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.